Kia ora te whānau, ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Welcome again, my friends, to this gospel reflection which comes to us today from the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verses 1 to 7. If you're new to these posts, I'm Buckshot. I'm from the Wellington chapter of God Squad, and we follow the lectionary each week to get some material to reflect on from the teaching of Jesus. And currently the lectionary has us travelling through Matthew. The last few weeks we've been on the road with him and a growing crowd. People have been healed. Jesus has crossed social and geographic boundaries. There is quite a buzz and occasionally a bit of commotion as people are surprised by some of the things that he does. Today we have the text describing the call of the first 12 male disciples and setting them up for a special mission of their own. We know quite a bit about some of these men and not so much about others. The first four, Simon Peter, Andrew, plus James and John, the sons of Zebedee, were all fishermen, and maybe they smelt a bit fishy even. And to boot, the brothers James and John were also known as the sons of thunder, who caused a few stinks later on the road with their arguments. Maybe that amazing character Unhygienics from the Asterix comics would be a great caricature of their type of character. We don't know much about Philip and Bartholomew, but Thomas, he was prone to doubt and asked lots of questions, and I think we all know someone like that. Then there was Matthew, the tax collector. He brings plenty of issues with him. Being an office worker, he probably had fine clothes and didn't have much to do with fishermen. But he was also a sellout to the occupying Roman forces, collecting taxes for them off the local Jewish population and sending that money to Rome. No one would have liked him. And especially Simon the Zealot, who comes along next. He was effectively a terrorist who was wanting to kill Romans and see them kicked out of his land, and was not a friend of people like Matthew at all. Then we have James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, who we don't know much about. And then, of course, finally, Judas Iscariot, famous for betraying Jesus. Imagine the chaos this bunch would be hanging out together. It must have tested the resolve and patience of Jesus many times. Yet this mixed bunch of misfits could be the basis of any chapter of God's got around the world, because often we're made up of an odd collection of tradespeople, school teachers, lefty social workers, conservative business people, and anyone else who wants to hang out with us. And yet off we go together with Jesus on the road in a chaotic and creative fashion, seeking that wonderful kingdom of God that Jesus teaches about. Today, our brand new disciples are sent on a small local mission. They've watched Jesus for a while, so are now ready for some action of their own. Jesus gives them not that much instructions. Only go to the lost sheep of Israel and preach that the kingdom of God is close at hand. Now, Jesus hadn't come to start a new religion, but rather he was to be the embodiment, the fulfillment of all the hopes of the prophets from ages ago, to make that kingdom of God available to everyone. Part of expressing that kingdom was to bring together this mixed bag of men to help them grow from their diverse and even hostile positions to a place of loving community. We know from other gospel records that these men had some tense times together, regularly arguing amongst themselves, complaining about outsiders and totally missing the points that Jesus was trying to show them. At times they were purely pathetic. Yet 11 of these original 12 went on to become the forerunners and examples of what it means to follow Jesus in the world. 10 of them were executed for their faith. John died in a Roman prison at the age of 96. Over time on the road together, they learned how to love, how to live together, to forgive, to heal and bring hope to the people they met on the road. It took a while, but they got there. So today's mission, their first one, is a small local one. The next commission they got from Jesus was to all the world, and they went off and did that too. So I want to encourage us all today to stick with following Jesus and putting into practice his ways of loving, forgiving, showing mercy, compassion, bringing healing and looking for the best in others. This is how God sees us. Hopefully, he sees the best in us and what we can become despite our sometimes pathetic offerings, like these guys were at the start. There will always be that person that smells, or dresses to flash, or votes for the opposition party to you, or questions every decision, or maybe even betrays leadership. This is exactly where our 12 disciples started from, but they grew and matured and became something beautiful and wonderful. They did not stay like that. So there is hope for all of us if we can stick together and see the journey through. Wherever you are, whatever community you are, and stick with it. Go the distance with some people so that you can truly belong in a place and eventually belong there. It is this travelling together, this rubbing up against each other that bears the fruit in our discipleship journey. Sean spoke about that fruit the other week. Dave talked about the way that Jesus took his followers to the other side last week, to a hard place. Friends, know you are loved even if you're struggling with people near you. Even our families and our neighbours are great places to teach us these things, not just our close. Stick with Jesus. Believe that his kingdom is at hand, and with perseverance you will see the fruit from following him that will transform the world. May the God of peace be with you and give you hope. Arangamari e kia koutou katoa.